the loading bar gets halfway, and then we're going to go straight into it. And of course, Ed, the reason I overtalked you there is because I sense that DevM's going to go for the kill early on this one. So that's why I was kind of getting a bit too hypey, a bit too early. Hello there, and welcome to a game for the ages. We see the rising sensation from the east. Playing from the north, it is Asiamint's United States Forces. And who does he find in the south? My co-caster, Ed 80Hz.
The old young veteran with skills to burn is insane DevM with his Austrian squad already locked in. It's going to be fast, it's going to be furious, Matt.
It is indeed. It is going to have to be because DevM feels under threat. You can just tell that that is the case. Near 10 years ago to the day, this man, or a boy at the time, won his very first tournament at the age of 12. He's now 22/23, somewhere around there. And he used to just demolish people, Ed, with insane micro ability. He wasn't a strategic player. He was all about the tactics and overwhelming you with his superior ability. But it's been a little while since he won his last major. I think the last major he won was Warpaint Championship late 2016. So three and a half years or thereabout. And tell us a bit about what you've seen from Asiamint so far, Ed, this year.
Well, I've seen a very aggressive USF style from him as well. He did like to lock in OKW as the Axis faction usually, so he's normally not too au fait with fighting Austrian, but in this current meta, they've just seemed to sprout new arms and legs, and they're uncontrollable, Matt. So everyone's locking in the Austrian now. So I think Asiamint will be well versed for tackling this due to the current meta. But his USF is nothing to be snuffed at. It's primed for him.
DevM's gone straight up the spine of Amelie Fields, Ed. He's gone straight up the spine with an MG, the Ostrupen supporting them. Much like the DevM of many years ago with the bike MG start, he's now using Ostrupen to just push up into his enemy's face, going straight for this big, nasty cutoff here.
Yeah, we see an encirclement of riflemen, man, onto that MG. Asiamint really wants that thing dead. Such a powerful early game weapon.
Yes, and here comes the encirclement. We've got riflemen coming from this side. We've got rear echelon coming from the west side. And DevM is a hard force in the centre. Pioneers close the gap with those MP40s and put the riflemen in a compromised position. Asiamint with great game sense gets an early retreat off. Here comes another rifleman to get to this green cover, or at least that's what Asiamint hopes. But DevM's pushing in strong with the Pioneers.
Yeah, just showing the power of the Pioneers in the early game. What a flank and shank there from DevM.
Was indeed. He's doing, as you would call it, Ed, a surround and pound, or at least he's trying to, Asiamint. But DevM is not having any of it. He's holding strong in the centre with the MG now repositioning. And we've got to be checking the minimap at all times because Asiamint is an amazing player, will be looking to diverge and converge back upon DevM's hard front.
Yeah, it's interesting. The rear echelons can almost hold their own against an Austrian squad, but the help of an MG42 quickly swings that engagement in the tide of DevM.
Here come the flanking units from the east. DevM's taking the second cutoff, so one cutoff taken. MG, ha ha ha. Then he changes angle and he takes the other one. So DevM's looking like he's a ferocious beast here. And to me, Ed, that tells me he's threatened by Asiamint, and he wants to take him out early. Does not want this to become a long, drawn-out affair.
Yeah, the quicker you get this beast out of the way, the better. You do not want a long slugfest of a match against him, because the APM is going to be insane with these two players. And harping back to how DevM won a lot of his games back in the day was just brute force, a lot of light vehicles, early rush, and a crap ton of APM.
It's funny because DevM was kind of talking to me before the game about 3 or 4 days ago, saying, I don't know what I'm going to do against Asiamint, I'm pretty rusty. And we were joking, saying, well, why don't you get the bike out from CoH and just reappear from nowhere kind of thing. And I know, I do talk to a lot of the players. I did an interview with Asiamint recently, for example, and he's a cracking guy, very competitive fellow. But it's interesting that he's just pretty much done that. He's gone straight for the jugular. Ostrupen retreating low. We've got the MGs turned about to face twice, by the way, Ed. It's constantly cycling around using the Ostrupen as spotting implements and to keep the pressure on. However, we have had a cut-off retaken for Asiamint. He does have fuel coming back in.
And the first of the famed light vehicles for DevM is out. The 2-2 map could do a lot of work in this early game. 50 cal in tow for Asiamint though, however, and no ambulance yet. This means he's going to really struggle for healing on his squads for a long time.
MG gives way to the 220 armoured scout car. That's going to come out and try and keep the pressure up from DevM. The pressure has to be relentless. The way he won his big tournaments back in 2015, 16 and CoH 2 was just with overwhelming pressure, but never fully subsiding. You have to have waves of pressure, Ed. You have to time your next level of tech to come in just as the previous level of tech becomes obsolete, and that's what he's looking to try and do here. Again with the cutoffs coming in. Asiamint under serious, unrelenting pressure.
Yeah, and just the use of those pioneers upgraded with the flamethrower now, Matt. It's just eking out the efficiency of every unit he can. They're very low HP, but just the efficiency he's getting out and the amount of resource control, it's so worth it. But they have 1 HP per model.
They do.
Get
Oh, it's
ugly
close.
in front of the 50 cal.
Oh, the 50 cal. Yeah, indeed. He had to change targets. Well called, Ed. Let's do a slow-mo look at the stats very quickly. I just want to see the KD of DevM has raced ahead 22-15. And you'll also check on the graph for points held that he's rushed ahead there too.
That means that basically translates to amazing MG42 play. It's been very busy. Already vet 1, 2 kills, but a lot of suppression. And that's basically what's making the Ostrypen hold their own.
It is. It is. It only with that MG, which, by the way, it does have 2 kills, but look at its veterancy. 1 and a quarter levels have gone up just due to the damage. It's been constantly active, and it is back once more.
I actually think the biggest factor to the Ostrypen doctrine being buffed was USF's M20 being nerfed. So you no longer get the bazooka crew, which you could kind of duel a 2-2 solo with smoke and bazooka crew.
Never liked that change, Meanie. Did you? I don't think. Did you like that change when it came in? I always liked it. The character of the bazooka jumping out and getting you at the last second. I always thought that was so cool. I'm
fanboy, so I'm always crying at those things. But I think it's, regardless of whether I like it or not, it's been a huge indirect buff to Ostir. So the 2-2, if getting out before the steward timing, as we see here, without an M20. It's made such a difference to this game.
Pioneer in peril. DevM's seen it though. He's feeling lucid, fluid, and in full control of his units right now. He's also taken the fuel and the fuel cutoff. He's going to have double fuel very soon, which means this Stuart could be in jeopardy if DevM can keep in control. He's going to have to possibly get Panzerschrecks on his Panzer Grenadiers.
Yeah, I think though he's got a good force here. 3 Ostrypen, still alive. You know, hasn't lost 1 squad yet. Has DevM. Sometimes his unit preservation has gone a bit Von Ivan-esque in previous games, but it's on top of it here. And I just think that was a big missed opportunity with the 50 cal earlier to wipe those pyres from Asiamint, unfortunately for him.
He has to maintain control at all times, Ed. If he lets Asiamint back in this game, it possibly will go Asiamint's way. And I don't want to say probably, because I want to try and remain unbiased, but I'm going to say probably, if he loses controls. But if he can maintains it and keeps this up, he's threatening the Panzerschrecks here that don't actually exist. It was a fake. He's now moving Panzerfausts into the Stuart's wake. He's got to keep him out.
Some glorious hosing down from the MG42 though. It's got the base basically pinned for Asiamint. He can't get out.
Got the Faust off as well, Ed.
Yeah, P-Gren's coming back from suppression. They're back up and ready to go. Popped out of pinned mode very quickly there.
He's using incendiary rounds as well, the MG, but we've got a flanking rifleman. He's got to be careful. Has DevM seen it? Yes, he has, just about. Looks like he's going to escape. Meanwhile, he's got the Pack 40 out of light mechanised. His teching at the moment, he hasn't gone for battle phase 2 quite yet. He's fine to keep this level of pressure up, it would seem.
And this Steward is dead as a dodo. 1 more Faust. Beautiful play there from DevM. Needed that King Steward down already. Such a short reign. He's only alive for about a minute, so yeah, some problematic times for Asiamint now.
With all due respect to the fallen of First World War, there's a phrase that entered English usage for the next century, and that's shell shots. And Asiamint, is certainly feeling that way right now, because this has got to reverberate. This was a hellacious an assault. We're going to now... Ed, we watched what he did against Lovenest in Corona Cup. It was spectacular. The sportsmanship as well. We know this guy is a competitor. He's not just like this funny guy on stream saying how much he likes pizza and going, ha, 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 ha. That's his English use.
Oh, he fooled you, Matt. Because he is. No, I think. I think he plays with a smile on his face. It's like the Ronaldinho of CoH, man. He just loves this game. He's learned a lot from process and has translated it to his 1v1 game. Has just ascended over the last 2 years. But DevM, like a sprinter, he's just come straight out of the blocks at him. That first 5 minutes has been hell. But as we see the map now, potentially double fuel going the way of Asiamint, he might be straight back in this. Sometimes you do lose you, Stuart, to a telemine or quadruple fails early game, but it's definitely not over. Back comes the ambulance to get the crucial healing of the squads mentioned earlier, and 50 cals and AT guns can be dropped in with the airborne company locked in. That it's not over yet.
It's not over yet, but DevM's now going to reapply the pressure. He hasn't fully conceded it quite yet. He's allowed Asiamint slightly bit more map control, whilst I think he's healed up, as Ed rightly mentions, and he's now looking to reapply it. Let's see if Asiamint can parry, because this looks like there's going to be a huge joust coming in.
Quite a late tech there, Matt. So he had 100 manpower float to spare before he did his Battle Phase 2 tech. Just things like that from DevM. Takes the foot off the gas a little bit, gives your opponent that few seconds more of vital breathing space between the next tier of units to come out.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how well he is with his Pioneer. He's got his Pioneer waiting in base to construct Tier 3, so the timing for the 125 fuel needed for the Panzer IV, which will be what he probably gets, by the way, tends to go for the generalist tanks, should be okay. But other than that, Ed, I think that's a good point. Yeah, he did float a bit there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you hold a bit back to reinforce expensive squads like the P-Glens, but he had full units on full models on all of his units, so you just got to be quick with that tech as Austin, because you also got to run home a Pioneer back to build the tech as well, unlike USF.
He just capped the fuel with a Pack 40, by the way. He's now returning the AT gun to the safety of his other units.
Nice. But it is a bit in trouble now. My Rifleman and Lieutenant want to say something about that.
Oh yeah, all of his units are suffering thanks to the now Veterancy 2 50 cal. Oh, the MG42's low on health. It's going to be lucky to survive.
And this is where 2-2 could be glorious combined with an S minefield. To shoot the ground and pop. Yep.
Oh, there you go! He hit retreat, I assume, and everything took him out. How did that work, Ed? What was it? The 222's AoE, was it?
2-2 could give the AoE on the S minefield, and even with your sweeper, it does not matter.
Okay, that makes more
You're
sense.
Hard killing them, yeah. But boom, goodbye rear echelons. And the sweep as well, crucial loss. But Asiamint pushing forward, taking back the map. It's going to get double fuel again, Matt. And considering how that first 6 minutes went, that just shows you how his bounce back ability.
This Veterancy 2 Ostwind is going crazy, Ed. It's an Ostwind, right? Because this thing has 20 kills. It must be.
For Ostwind skinned as a 2-2, yeah.
What the hell?
CSGO player.
Forcing away the 50 cal. He has lost double fuel, though. This is the resilience of Asiamint. This is what DevM cannot afford to happen. However, he does have a power spike coming in the way of the Panzer IV. What does Asiamint have as AT to defend himself right now?
He has no AT, but he does have double fuel, Matt, so I think he can get on Russian with the tech. He's got an AT gun dropped in. It's not yet crewed. Losing that rear echelon was crucial, because that would have been the squad to do it.
Let's have another quick look, slow-mo look at the stats, and we'll go back to the overview screen, and we can see that, of course, Asiamint has kind of kept up with DevM in terms of kills. And we'll just have a look at... no, I can hear some activity. I want to go see what it is. Let's not mess around.
And the side bonus now that 222 scout car is actually doing a scouting job. It gives so much vision. And Vet 2 Flame Pioneer already in DevM, and I like the fact that he went double Pioneers. We saw yesterday so many just little mistakes of people not getting enough Pioneers in their games as Austin. but DevM's rectified that already. He's got double flamethrower, Matt. He's
Yes.
got the hell with mines. He knows airborne's being used as hearing the planes drop in weapons, so yeah, smart choice. Gone double flamethrower. This is full-on aggression now from DevM. He's got to close out this game, hopefully by the 19-20 minute mark.
Yeah. He's got to keep up the pressure. He can't afford to just be... I know I keep saying that, but it's the most relevant thing for DevM's thing. If anybody thinks I'm casting too much of DevM, I am. But it's also because he's on the south of the map, so it kind of means your viewfinder ends up looking more at him, just as an FYI there. Not much blue on your screen at many points. Riflemen have been possibly found out there. The Panzer IV's coming for them. Yes, they have indeed, thanks to that victory point cap.
And what Asiamint now needs to do is consolidate, save his manpower, crucially, because he doesn't have enough for a major yet, but he does have the fuel, so Rifleman costs quite a lot, 28 manpower pops. So
double M180 guns.
AT, yeah.
One finds,
Could
one
go
bounces
down.
though.
Oh.
No, there you go.
Good old ping. Didn't go for the second attack round as well. Was out of range. But
fuel
yeah, just
again
a reminder that he
DevM.
does have double AT gun there. So back goes DevM licking his paws for the P4.
His fuel's looking good as well, but as is Asiamint. But Asiamint, of course, has got to cap the major for 120. So he's still a little bit away from his first tank.
And now double AT gun, especially the M1 fire rate, 57mm of USF Pride. That is spells hell for the 222. It basically has to be an NPC now for the rest of the game and just scout from afar.
What an NPC.
21 kills though, Matt.
Yeah, I know. What an NPC.
He's done his job, I think.
It's like one of the guards in Skyrim. He used to be a warrior, but then he took an arrow to the knee, which is a very old meme, I appreciate. But that's the 222's role now. He's very much an onlooker, but what an onlooker to have. Look at that vision. Which, that's not the right guy. There we go. Look at that. Look how far he can see. By the way, the Panzer Grenadiers did a good job pushing units off. No cut-off was able to be taken, but it doesn't matter because DevM's still putting a lot of fuel harassment in and keeping 2 VPs, meaning, of course, Asiamint has now fallen. Another 50 cal to come down, Ed.
Yeah, big triple cap hype in the way of DevM at the moment, but yep, 50 cows and AT guns plenty dropped in, so this is the versatility of the airborne company. Provides you do not have to go captain to get the AT guns, crucially. And yeah, just imagine, Matt, if that's King Stewart that was alive, what a different game would have, because Asiamint without
Oh, there we go! Big Panzer IV snipe there, took nearly all the riflemen out, but the Ostroupen were pinned and they could not finish the job. There is a dropped Browning though, and he's going to want that, but their 50 cal is going to watch on for a while, so I think DevM, you know, might even prioritise trying to get it. It'd be quite nifty, wouldn't it?
I'm laughing because I've got so many bundlings spinning around models on my
Have you really?
screen
Good, good.
that rifleman squad, but they left the BAR, which DevM has not picked up with his Ostroupen.
No, he's not quite yet, no. The by the way, the 222's just picked up his 23rd kill, hitting Veteran C3. Probably giving it better mobility or something. Yep, indeed, and weapon accuracy, so making it even more lethal. S-mines detonate again in the centre. Riflemen are not having a good time of it. DevM's now locking in his second Panzer IV as predicted.
Oh, I'm just, I'm tilted, Matt. How has DevM not picked up the BAR yet? I'll be all over that like a little loot goblin.
Indeed. We didn't see a rifle nade from Asiamint. No, we did. It was delayed. He was just waiting to get
this was one thing I was waiting for this animation to come, because I had to ask Talisman back in the day of GCS2 at the live event, and he told me that you just see the front USF man raise his gun. That's when you know the rifle nade's been triggered or not. It's really hard to see in the heat of battle compared to like a Faust where it's a bit more obvious animation. But yeah, it's sneaky, and once it's locked in, it can go all the way over the map whether you blitz away or not.
That's interesting. That's I like that. One thing that's also interesting, Ed, is the fact that the Ostroupen did get the Browning automatic you really wanted them to. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I'm happy now.
Nice work, nice work. We've got
It just looks so good when they have a different like weapon icon. Doesn't matter what it is, but stolen weapons always taste the best.
Panzer IV just drove into the base bunkers from the off map. Of course, this is one of the custom maps that's been made for competitive play, and we're bringing in way more custom maps because we recognise that tournaments need better maps, and that's what we're starting to see with originally the Corona Cup and now the first Master League tournament. Mein liebes Zweimal.
You've been working on that pronunciation, right?
Yeah, I've had a lot of practice.
Vet 3 MG42 with the Star Wars-esque laser bullets. Feels good when they're hosing away the lieutenant. I swear that S minefield though is like regenerating mines or something because it's still popping off. 10 minutes later after being laid down.
Yeah, one Panzer IV just got a damaged engine. Ostrupen capping the cutoff yet again. Just the dynamics of this, and Asiamint is now getting to support weapon meta, much like we saw Barton thrive with yesterday. Big shout out to him.
The 222 is going to risk it all for a biscuit. Get in behind us, 50 cal. DevM,
one down, 180 gun down. He's looking for the other Ed. He's going to try and get it. The Panzer IV's got him in his sights, like Soldier 76. And 2 tins of Red Bull. However, big bazooka volley. Panzer IV's going to be looking to escape. He's got to try and get that, but the 18A gets him.
Oh, the M1 got a shot off with only one model. Tournament mode, where are you at? So, yeah, hero M1 squad there for Asiamint made the difference in the damage for that P4. But can't just say DevM, what a lad. He went in 1 P4 around the right, 1 P4 far down the left with 222 up the middle. That is big brain plays there, because so many people would just clump all their tanks together.
222's looking low, Ed. 222's looking low. The M1's trying to get him. Max range shot, perhaps. Couldn't quite get it off.
Unkillable Vet 3 now. 26 kills. That thing can't die.
On Terminator. Scout car. Meanwhile, DevM's going to get another Panzer Grenadier. He did lose an Ostrupen in the madness of all of that, and he's also been able to, by the way, get double fuel yet again, so he's got a very good 33 income. And don't forget, for his next big push, Ed, he's going to have Schwer Gustav on a railway line very close to Amelie Fields. There is a railway line, so it does certainly make it very immersive right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen the Baoliang fast tech towards tier 4, which could have been an option against a rather fuel-starved and manpower-starved Asiamint. Instead, he's gone heavy on tier 3 with the P4s, which seems to be pretty much the better out in order match at the moment.
Oh, 50 cal's about to die. 50 cal getting taken out by the Sturmgewehrs, possibly. But they lose their ability to fire their guns. And they start spraying around. Oh dear.
Lieutenant still wants this 2-2. Oh, misses the Zook shot. Won't get the double Zook shot, so pulls back. Very close engagements here.
Panzer IV's found the Major. It's not going to have a nice time of that. We've got Panzer Grenadiers coming into the centre versus. We've got 16 kill, 1 vehicle kill. Riflemen, the guys that I thought got the killing blow.
But DevM now could tech to tier 4, Matt. Get that Panzerwerfer going. It's against there's triple MG and double AT guns. Glorious for a nice Panzerwerfer strike.
Could also see the
will he be stuck in tier 3 though?
I think he's going to probably keep up the tier 3 pressure, I would assume. Right now he's got manpower he needs because he's reinforcing the Panzer Grenadiers, which of course, I think it's 34, isn't it, a pop? And so he's a little bit struggling there. And he's not even...
You should buy a 222 dressed as an Austrian, because the Austrian dressed as a 222 has done work, but maybe if you're going to stick in tier 3, those Austrians are very good against USF. Heavy infantry build.
Gotta shout this out. I really dislike the fact that the 18As just follow the vehicle for miles. And I'm sure that the 222 dislikes that as well. He's been sullied as the godlike armoured car. Nice flank in the west, by the way. Ostrupen with the Browning automatic found the Browning 50 cal, as do the Ostrupen compatriots. Do force them away. 50 cal's just setting up though, because it's Ostrupen. Even though they've got a bar, it's still just Ostrupen. Was that a misplay though? Was it a misplay?
It's just good play there from DevM. I think Asiamint does use the snap, quick fire ability to get that old suppression off with the 50 cal. But it was very well flagged there from DevM. Just using really early game units with Ostrupen still utilising them well in the late game. With
nice flank as well from Panzer Grenadiers. They also find out that the Jackson is indeed there. We have railway artillery enabled if he wants to use them. We've got a very low health rifleman. Could be dying to Ostrupen in the west. Keep an eye on that. Jackson's in peril. Riflemen, do they die? Most likely, but the Panzer Grenadiers are suppressed, don't forget. Yes, they do die. Ostrupen pick up the kill. Jackson's watching on. We've got more infantry coming in for the United States forces, but DevM's bringing in the cavalry with the packs, 2 of them in tow. And here comes the railway artillery. The riflemen are moving into it. Watch out, Asiamint! Watch out!
This is DevM's calling card, especially against Von Iver back in the day.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I didn't kiss him. Needs to delete it, hard kill the weapon. There we go. Great takedown of an AT gun there from DevM.
2 packs, watch the Jackson. This could be GG, quite frankly. 2 packs, and one's going forward as well to allow the other to shoot and him to get the final killing shot. But we do have an ability from Asiamint. It's the major artillery as he retreats away.
Yeah, and it was the full one used for 60 munitions, not the fake one. And just double Zook Lieutenant though, causing a bit of a problem for the P4. Gets one more pen. So P4's got to back off. Couldn't pursue the Jackson. Jackson earlier did get a couple of squishies on the P guns as well. So it's racking up the infantry kills.
The damage has been done in terms of... Oh, it's the Jackson. Jackson's hit an S-mine on the right fuel there, if you're wondering what that noise was. But in terms of fuel, look at DevM's fuel count, and he's also now, of course, got a lot of manpower in the bag. Is he going to do what Ed was suggesting and tech up? He has indeed tech to Battle Phase 3.
But he doesn't have the building that gives him the buff just yet, the final tier building. But yeah, it just shows he's realizing now this game's transitioned. It's no longer brute force. We saw Von Ivan yesterday getting 3 P4s, tried to end the game that way. Oh, he's just got tier 4, and maybe he's going to build the structure for the buff. But
Panzerwerfer as well, I'm thinking 2 Panzer 4s and a Panzerwerfer might be the build.
He's gone for the P4, Matt, so he's stuck with tier 3. Probably going to try Von Ivan, but with a bit more pizzazz. And he doesn't have assault guns, crucially he does have
big bazooka barrage, and another one possibly finished off from the major. However, the 222 survives. Very close there, very close indeed.
Very shaky times for that pew, but he's alive. I think Vet 3 gives him a bit more survivability. Yeah. Improved vehicle mobility, survivability, and weapon accuracy. So just that little HP buff, I think, kept it alive there.
Lovely stuff. Meanwhile, in the East, Panzer Grenadiers are suppressed by the Vet 3 10 kill, 50 cal. Pack 40's in the centre with the Panzerwerfer helping out. Let's just check on, are there any Pioneers coming back to base? No, that's Ostrupen. We do have the Pioneers very close by though, so they could build the heavy armour core very quickly indeed. And where do you see Asiamint going from here? He has a bit more fuel now as well. He could add to his Jackson.
I think Asiamint should just go full cancerous Pakawi.
Possibly.
Just laugh at the opponent as he loses all his support weapons. But Kamikaze P47 doesn't quite land in the collective area of the base. Thank God for the troops of DevM.
Well, no, now it wouldn't have killed everything. It would have just done a lot of damage. We removed heavy crush from the planes, you see. So it's still spectacular, but it doesn't just like delete a game.
Fair enough. I quite like my Kamikaze pilots, but that's because I'm usually behind in a game and need something.
Oh, we got the Vet 350 cal in a really tricky spot here. 222 finishes it off. Another kill for the 222. 32 now.
The Jurassic Raptors 2 P4s coming up the east flank. This is the first time DevM's really put all of his armor together. But meanwhile, Asiamint on the west is decapping the VPs. Playing the map well.
With those 13 kill Ostrup and the ones with the ball that did get a full rifleman wipe earlier on. We also have for the very first time, by the way, what is this lieutenant doing? He's just scouting. That is, I don't want to say he's StarCraft-esque because he's Korean, so it sounds like I'm just assuming. But I like the fact that he's doing reconnaissance, proper spotting and reconnaissance. That is what we get by becoming a truly international RTS scene. We get better mechanics from a bigger variety of players. It's wonderful to see.
Yeah, didn't cap anything, so didn't give away a notification to your opponent. And he's utilizing that sprint when out of combat. Yeah, very fast scouting tool actually, this the lieutenant, with double Zooks as well, so it could sneak around the rear arm of these damaged vehicles, do some work as well in the future.
Yeah, it'd be nice, it'd be very nice indeed. And what a game this has evolved into. This is 28.5 minutes of prime CoH action. We've got another Jackson on its way as well. Asiamint, he knows that he's been struggling. There's one thing I try to tell everybody about Asiamint. He's not just about the micro. His game sense and strategic thinking is next level. And 2 Jacksons, Ed, is going to hard counter both Panzer IVs.
Yeah, and with one thing tournament mode could never address is the infinite pop cap abuse you could do as USF. So we could see after the second Jackson, no, he's gone for Sherman. This is what I actually prefer. I think he needed a bit more anti-infantry to flap the P-Guns running amok on this map at the moment. Oh, just crush him.
What a crush!
Alright, there's your P-Gran answer.
102 bloody pop cap gone in the blink of an eye. That's just
Get hard
insanity.
counted, son. What the? Such a lucky guy. Why did I try that? Just
oh, we cancelled the Jackson.
Nothing does.
He's cancelled the Jackson. He's gone for a Sherman. So despite me saying that's probably the way forward, oh, Panzer IV's wrecking. How many kills do those guys have now? 18 on one. And the amateur only has 2. So it is all about that pro Panzer IV, it seems.
And the Zook has dropped crucially, so that'll be a nice pickup for the pioneers of DevM, should he choose to get it. But double tank trap working wonders on the old left-hand fuel point for Asiamint. Still utilising in the late game, pushing off the Ostrooper now with the bar.
It is heavy Panzer Corps that gives you the... Oh, nice find from the packs. They find one Jackson with a 2-2 spotting them. Yeah. Oh, and they get the kill! That
Brilliant
is the power of
spotting.
spotting.
Yep, brilliant vision there. So we're just on about Asiamint's glorious reconnaissance mission with the lieutenant earlier. Eat your heart out, DevM says. I've got something a bit better. And a 36 kill 2-2. Sherman pushing into double packs, man. This is not healthy.
He's pushing the major around. We've had a misclick there as he jumps out of the Jackson. We've also got Schwer Gustav lining up 3 big barrages from a railway near you. Here it comes from the skies above. The Sherman dies. Let's get a cinematic overview of this as the first shell lands with a thunder and takes out one of the AT guns. Panzer IV's gone all the way around the cusp here. He's now polishing off several squads. Next one takes out that time of 50 cal. Twice on target. Let's line up the third. Lieutenant in danger.
Bodies and shrapnel everywhere all over the battlefield.
Oh, he was. He got out of there, though, just about. Holy
That's
crap.
P4 running for its life. 50 cal going to cap up the VP, but another P4 selected him. We did have a sacrificial lamb of one, but he got the Jackson and the Sherman map. That's a huge win for DevM there in that engagement.
It's as ad-libbed in the film Aliens from 1985, it's game over, man! It certainly feels that way right now for Asiamint. He's going to have to recollect himself and dust himself off and consider his next approach, because I think he's been taken by surprise in this game. The old dog, I know he's 23, but the old dog with his pesky old 2012 Vico Micro has pulled one out for the ages against the considered the #1 player in the world right now. So, I mean, we're not going to say DevM's back, baby, quite yet, but we are saying he's had a game that would indicate he wants to be.
He's maturing like a fine wine. He's been very patient with this game, realised he couldn't brute force it too early on, and kept a good substantial pressure up. But that was a glorious push, as in contrast to yesterday where we saw a few too many throws from austere players. Once they've racked up a lot of P4s, that was very good work there in contrast for DevM.
Oh, again, the packs finding the Sherman, forcing it away. This glorious MVP 2-2-2 with this incredible spotting range. Just look at that crap. Look at that. Well, it's in danger, so we'll take off that for a moment. Just
40 kills on the 2-2-2. That's, you know, if I had a KD stat, that's probably like 5 people's normal games in one.
2 of them are vehicle kills as well. It's got the finishing touch on 2 separate vehicles. We do have a Vet 3 rifleman pushing away the veteran packs. It actually decrews one of them.
Yeah,
and the Panzer IV's going around the edge, though. Oh, again!
USF rifleman, yep. And the P4 swinging around the rear side, gets 2 Zooks and
finishes off one of the M1s as well. It actually used Blitzkrieg, by the way, to take him by surprise. The Sherman moonwalks into vision. One of the Panzer IVs is a little bit in jeopardy here. However, the remaining pack is helping him out. And he's going to punish the Sherman. We've got a damaged engine. Rear armor penetrated. Bazooka's finished the job. The second Panzer IV comes into view. Major's looking for a bazooka shot. Can't quite get it off. And the Sherman is going to survive. So DevM threw a Panzer there. And these are one of the things that could allow Asiamint back into things if he's not careful.
A bit messy, but the 2-2-2 wants the final kill. He's going to throw the 40.
No!
The 41 kill.
I missed it.
Goes down to the Sherman on the left-hand side of Asiamint's base. Ballsy there from DevM through his most famed unit at the Sherman.
Damn it.
Asiamint, meanwhile, pops out his tank and runs forward, I think, to give a bit of vision before he starts repairing.
Do you know what happened there? I tried to click the unit icon of the 222 and it died before I clicked it, so I actually clicked the Panzer IV. That's so frustrating. But never mind. But indeed, the 222 sadly dies. And
the Sherman lives, crucially, so this is just swung all the way around for Asiamint here. What a hold, because that was a monolithic push there from DevM.
Look at the fuel for DevM though, and Asiamint's seen the writing on the wall as the riflemen go down to the Sturmgewehrs after an hellacious battle. If you look at his infantry, DevM's cleared him up with the constant, unrelenting pressure. What a game. Ed, you're gonna have to re-enable your video camera, by the way, mate. Just an FYI, it didn't work from last time. You know when you you put your thing in.
I shared my screen.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one. But what I was going to address there, guys, is that was one of the most hellacious, frenetic, micro-intensive battles ever. I think we kept up with all of the action just into the last minute, in which we missed the 222 die and a bundle nade on retreat, wiping out the lieutenant. So if you're wondering why Asiamint GG, the lieutenant died, then a rifleman died in quick succession, causing him to think it's actually, I think I've got your video clicked off, so that's actually my fault. Oh no, it was you. It was you. And,
George Orwell style. Deleting me out of existence now. Yeah, I've shared the cam, so maybe see again.
It's back, mate. It's back. We can see you live and in colour. There we go. Beautiful stuff.
Ostrupen used perfectly there by DevM. But also transitioned into a late game GG push like no other. Yesterday we saw so many players fall short where they've massed up these P4s. They think the B's and E's, and they charge in everything all clustered together, and it very easily gets taken down by multiple AT guns. What we saw there from DevM though instead was just sheer flankage, a full surround, but also puncturing through the middle with that 222.
Yeah,
and the hero went down in the end, but it did its job and then some. Was probably the best Oster player I've seen in a while there from DevM, because to beat Asiamint's USF, you're going to have to play out of this world, and that's what DevM just did.
He absolutely did. It was fantastic. Fantastic battle. And I've just restarted my client. We're going to restart and get straight back into things. We've got game 2 coming up, so no rest for the weary of the wicked. After a game like that, usually I would be done for the day, because that was so much to keep up with, but we have a full day of casting ahead. So yeah, me and Ed are doing this for the love of it, and because we're gluttons for punishment, absolute gluttons for punishment. So let's get Ed straight back in. Do you need a drink of water or anything? Just checking. I don't want to punish you too hard.
No, that's fine. By the way. Fine. I might need a little bathroom break.
Okay, no probs. Bathroom break initiated. Sequence.
And then, then my mind's in peace for game 2.
Okay. Quick 1 minute break, guys. We'll be straight back. Hang on.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to an insane DevM Game 2 performance, hopefully from him. In Game 1, he just annihilated Asiamint's USF forces. But in this one, he brings in the old oisky-boisky Soviets. And who will he be up against, Matt?
He's up against the OKW of Asiamint, just like we saw in Co-Rona Cup, the only guy to play OKW pretty much in the new meta. He is a guy that's been shown by DevM that some of these old famous tourney players aren't going to go down without a fight. If you want to take the scene by storm, some of these players, the DevMs, the Love Nests of the world, are going to take that as a challenge, and they're going to practice their asses off and compete with you. And I'm sure that Asiamint's the kind of guy that loves a challenge, so that's what we've got here. 1-0 to DevM versus Asiamint on Amelie Field's quarterfinals of the first Master League tournament.
Yeah, we'll see how this OKW faction works out on this map. And Asiamint already using the stern pilots to rush the fuel. Capped along the way though, so I think it's a bit of a safer fuel point than most other maps, Matt, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a little bit further away. There is obviously the cut-offs as well to consider. Surprisingly, I was kind of hyped, by the way, for the idea of DevM's USF, because he was the big pioneer of USF back in the day, in the big old tournaments, and I haven't really seen it. So he's
that M20 nerfed it.
That's all it is.
No M20, no insane DevM early game light vehicles matter anymore.
Needs us in bazookas, it seems. And there we go. We've got a first pitched engagement of the game as one of the first Trinity throws himself into the air for some reason. Probably got shot, I imagine. Something like that. Meanwhile, we have...
actor did. It's good for that Oscar, his death animation.
We also have more first Trinitys. One was waiting from Asiamint, by the way, just keeping this battle ongoing. And don't forget, by the way, Asiamint's already capped his fuel, so Asiamint's looking for some interesting tactics now. First nade threatened there. I heard the voice line anyway for some reason.
Yeah, and unlike yesterday where we saw 2 conscripts from Huvan Bartertown into support weapons, we've gone for the full Chad mode, 4 conscripts from Insane DevM. It is one thing on his mind, and that is overwhelm your enemy with superior numbers. Get that green cover built up when you take the points and just dig in.
He's banking on the Mosin Nagants of the conscripts being better than the Car 98Ks of the Folks Grenadiers, and the Stern Pioneers could put an end to that. Here comes a little ambush. I'll show you the fog of war to see what they're seeing, which isn't much at all. He's getting no vision of the Stern Pioneers right now. A little bit of they're facing the wrong way kind of thing. But
Surprise.
Indeed, they... There you go. They will jump into action very soon now.
Bad position there though for Asiamint now. He's actually going to try and make the best of bad situation and kite them around even more. But finds another conscript squad. It's just like jump scare central for these stone pilots.
And we also have our first combat engineer with a flamethrower, and the second one could be as well. It could be so overwhelming. Stone Pioneers drop 3 models. New conscripts come into the fray. They're both going to all fire upon him.
Imagine the power of a Mosin bullet, and then you'd like 20 dudes shooting at you, but you somehow live. But yeah, Stone Pirate makes it back. The first truck is in tow. I'd be interested to see if he goes straight. It's probably
Here's that flamethrower. Sorry to interrupt, Ed. I'm a bugger for that. Here comes that flamethrower from the sides. And in first incendiary grenade goes off, however, he dodges it without any health damage. Flamethrower comes in, now Folks Grenadier is cooking up, loses 2 models. The pressure's coming down from DevM for the north. Conscript pushed away. Folks Grenadiers took the hay from the western side.
Meanwhile, the folks on the far west behind the hay bale picking up some crucial models there. Sending home a few squads now for Asiamint. Good flank there from the 4th Folks squad that most people had forgotten about. Oh, Pioneers risking it for biscuit. I don't know why they stayed so long, but yeah, good flamethrower damage. Vet 1 already on Insane DevM's flamethrower unit.
4 kills on those guys. Meanwhile, the Stim Pioneers have no kills. They do drop a model and are forced away. However, let's check the attack map and just see that DevM's been able to capture both fuels, which means we're going to have a very quick T70 at this rate. Despite Asiamint's excellent tactics in the early game, it looks like DevM's just overwhelmed him with... I don't want to sound like I'm over-egging it here, but it was certainly a superior flank. I say, Asiamint's got to pick his socks up. He's been resoundingly punched in the face. Now he needs to look for a better defense and to regroup. He's got to regroup, and he's got to do it fast.
I think, yeah, DevM's been listening to Jurassic 5's album Power and Numbers, because he utilised his way through with a lot of conscripts there. And I think Asiamint was just trying to be a bit too cheeky with his turn powers, dancing away from squad to squad. Lost 3 models pretty much unnecessarily. After, you got to know when to cut your losses, Matt, with these early engagements, especially with expensive unit like Stern Powers, and just get them back. If you've been caught out, there's no dishonor in full retreat. Get back full models in for the next engagement.
But you've got to keep constant pressure on at this level as well, Ed. I know that exactly what you're saying is true with manpower, but you're in this delicate balance of needing constant pressure to keep the resources up, because otherwise you're going to suffer. We do have, by the way, that the support weapon company is coming up first, of course, to give way to the Tankover Battalion Command. We've got an incendiary grenade in the middle. However, the troops are marching around it to get at the Foch Grenadiers. We could even see a merge very soon, a merge into retreat possibly on the combat engineers. They might not need it quite yet. They're putting the burn down, and this is very reminiscent of the old strats that the Co-1 players used to use against Panzer Elite, of course, the forebearers of OKW, Ed. It was all about riflemen, flamethrowers, and then sticky bombs, and we're seeing something very similar here.
And the sick merges brew can always help your early game combat engineers with just keeping that flamethrower on the field for so long. But yeah, DevM's done a great job. 6 minutes in and Vet 2 already. Luke's though in tow for Asiamint, and he's dropped down some meds, so he'll be able to get that good old OKW tactical control group going very soon.
And has DevM finally learned the stuff that players have been doing against him? For a long time, people kind of inferred that DevM just relied on his old strats and his old tactics, and he wasn't a learning computer. But he's doing what Lovenest crippled him with back in the GCS 1 tournament, with the tripwire flares, the mines for days, constant munitions usage, and he's putting him down himself. So I'm kind of excited to see that. Shows that he's learning, which is good.
Yeah, I mean, look at his munitions float already in the early game. 110. That's 3 or 4 mines you could get busy with. But he's opted for a really fast T70, and we'll see with the second combat engineer squad, who haven't been as famed. They've got the flamethrower a lot later. He's gone for double flames early games, so that's a lot of munis instead of mines. I would have liked to have seen a few more mines, but he has laid one down. Asiamint trying to blow it up, but he doesn't know
where it is. And there he goes. That's unfortunate. Would have been could have just waited for the Stern Pioneers. They were right there.
No patience.
No patience.
These Seamers these days, eh? But yeah, so with the 4 conscripts now, without a T-snap, this could be pretty painful from the Lukes. T70 though, 8-minute T70.
Oh, there he is.
Could be a lot to handle for the Lukes. He's desperately going to save now towards a Puma, I think.
The little pyramid of infinite doom from the Soviets, of course. That little light tank that just inhabits this incredible CO2 lethality focus. It's an incredible vehicle. It's the crutch, it's the spine, it's the constant thorn in all Axis players' side.
Interesting. Is the T70 the exact same size as the Lukes?
Okay. Let me. No, the Lukes is much bigger. Look at my screen. T70's tiny.
Yeah, T70. What is going on?
By the way, we've got a Zis.
Less tank.
I thought that was a Zis gun. That was a T70 getting 2 penetrations off. They assumed Zis gun. No, Jamesy Jamzo got my joke, by the way. If you didn't see Ed, I panned the camera down and made the Panzer II look massive.
Okay, you zoomed in. I'm not that quick at old tabbing, mate. Sorry. One monitor.
Oh man, that's unfortunate. Your one monitor's 36 inches.
Yeah, but
that's all you need. Here we go, T70, by the way. He's climbed to his second kill, but the Rakettenwerfer was waiting, which is going to save the Foch Grenadier's life.
By shooting, he still illuminates himself, so a lot of people smash that whole fire key on the T70 and not eat the second shot of the Raketten, but no vision there for Asiamint for the follow-up.
Big shout
Does
out
have the fuel now? Oh, sorry, yes. You go.
Big shout out in chat to Ibkai Fung, the head referee of Mannleben Zweimal, the tournament. If it wasn't for him and all the referees, this could not happen. The referee's actually keeping this mega 32-man double elimination tournament alive and happening. And he got my Father Ted reference, so good on him. And Conscript's coming in with the combat engineers, forcing away the first grenadiers as the Luke watch is on. It's still not gotten its first kill. Oh, there you go. It's gotten its first kill.
I was just going to say, Asiamint has got the option now. He's just about got the manpower for Puma. And as soon as he gets that 320, he clicks it, Matt. That's what you want to see.
It is. Of course, we want to see competition. It's our job as casters to not care who wins, but just want excellent games. That's our raison d'etre anyway. And we're going to be seeing it because it seems that Asiamint's OKW is a much sterner test for DevM thus far.
Well, I was talking to him late last night before I went to bed, and he said OKW are dead when I asked Asiamint, will he go OKW? But I said, you got to use the revive potion, you know, Pokemon style. So it's a one-man band trying to revive this faction at the moment in competitive 1v1.
Oh,
we saw
indeed.
Helping Hands use it late yesterday to a defeat, unfortunately for him. But I think if anyone can
What does this noise mean
Phoenix
to you, Ed?
OKW back from the dead, it's him.
Indeed. We're talking about
Puma.
resurrection. Talking about resurrection, what does this noise mean to you? Bim, bim, ba-da-dum.
Oh, when you've healed all your boys.
Yes! You've healed all your Pokemon. Indeed, Asiamint's trying to do that for OKW right now, but the Zisgun stands in his way. He's looking for an Oorah as well, but it's just a threat right now. Meanwhile, the Foch Grenadiers watch on, as does the Luke's now taking its 4th kill. Conscripts are in peril. We have a big shot from the Zis, however.
Yeah, Puma does have 9 wheels. Never really noticed the wheel on the back, just in case. Or the spare tyre. And he's got to use all his mobility here to get the old flank off on the T70, which is now in recon mode. So
It is indeed having a little
it's going to be spotted for that Ziz. Yeah.
That's the synergies of Company of Heroes, the excellent plays we do possibly see. No, the Car 98Ks, the Foch Grenadier Veterans 2, we're waiting for them. More conscripts coming to the fray, now spotting for the Zisgun, getting a huge shot in.
And a new R to follow, but couldn't quite close the distance there with the sprint. Panzer 2 now, Vet 2 already.
Oh, Raketten in peril from the Zis barrage as well. We've got Vet 2 on the combat engineers as well, as the Pumas backing away from peril. Dem's looking to push into the centre, it seems.
Yeah, it's very, very fast repair time now for DevM 2, Vet 2 Pioneers. This is where OKW fall down a bit. He hasn't upgraded his base with fixies on the old mechanized truck, so it's just one Sternpire he's gonna keep bringing back for repairs, and it's not yet Vet 3, so it does not have the repair bonus.
That is brutal. He's healing, he's repairing the Swiss Army knife of OKW.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked for all the squads. The APM is through the roof here. Only 2 STGs upgraded on Asiamint's Volks at the moment, Matt.
Yeah, at the moment it would seem. He's been using his munitions elsewhere, and the T-70's just climbed to his 6th kill. Rakettenwerfer pushes itself into combat as soon as possible, and the map control that DevM's now exerted thanks to that most recent attack, and Asiamint having to replenish his stocks is really started to show.
And always the problem with OKW, he's had to put all those munitions into healing basically, so such a gimp for this faction not having reliable healing.
One mine goes off in the west, meanwhile the Luke's harassing the conscripts in the east. This thing's now got 8 kills all of a sudden. He's attacking the sandbag to try and destroy it, but he's got a long way to go. No, he's found an angle on them now. He's probably overshooting with an attack ground perhaps, but the Zisgun and the other conscripts are now springing a trap. So all the while, if DevM is up against something that's is killing him, he'll just anchor and he'll look to try and counter it. So that's good, just good play in general.
Yeah, no, we've got to be thinking now of timing winners. No, Asiamint does not tech up. He instead goes for the old Fallschirmjäger squad map.
There's the flare, by the way. Fallschirmjäger squad's going to be a good DPS head, well said. But the flare is 50 munitions for 1 dead Foch Grenadier, and that's good going.
Yeah, 10 munitions for 25 manpower.
Oh, is it 10?
Take that any day.
It's like I was trying to make it sound better than it was. It's only 10. Luke's 11 kills. Butcher in this conscript squad. He's going to go for the first swipe of the day. Could get it off, perhaps. Going to reverse after him. The turret's going AWOL, but the flag's possibly going to save his life here. No, he goes past the flag. Conscript in peril. Goes into base, but a threatened Uror. Gets it off. The Ziskon's now facing the other way. Meanwhile, in the centre, we've got smoke coming in. We've got a mine saving the centre. Luke's in peril, looking for more shots. T70 turns around. We've got a stun grenade. We've got a Puma coming in as well, Ed. Basically, it's all going down.
Glorious push here from Asiamint. He is base inspecting the hell out of DevM at the moment. He's going to lose the Lukes. That's already a foregone, but he did get a Puma snared as well, so I think he is going to have to back out of this one. Can't follow up on the T70.
Mines win games, and with that mine in the centre is very crucial to keeping all of this alive. If the Ziscon wasn't able to turn around, it could have been different. If the T70 had been snared by one of the Foch grenadiers in the centre, it could have been different. So again, that mine was the linchpin and the kingpin to keeping that alive. Meanwhile, Rakettenwerfer finding the T70.
DevM chooses, due to basically blocking himself with the Ziscon and the wreck. Had to take an alternative path there. Quick thinking there from DevM. Keeps the T70 alive. Another Ura in the mid-map on the VP.
Oh, yes!
Extra damage on that Puma.
Needs to take off prioritized vehicles just to get any DPS off on the infantry, of course. And in the meantime, although obviously DevM got some wins there, he did actually lose a lot of the map, it must be said.
Yeah, it was a great push there from Asiamint. Did lose his Lukes, but wiped the conscript model. And T34 now coming up for DevM, so the next power spike is going to go his way. Asiamint crucially needs to get some tech up. He has got the Panzerschwer building, so there'll be no med truck for him. It's just full frontal ahead now to get some P4s or JP4s in the later game.
And you're exactly right with regards to power spike, and he wants the power spike sooner rather than later. He could have waited for an 85 mil, of course, as part of the armoured assault tactics. But instead he went for the 76 just to keep the pressure on, because pressure in high levels company of heroes is so damn important.
Yeah, keeping those stern pioneers is very important too. They very nearly go down.
T-34-76 is coming in for some fun. We've got a Faust threatening, but the T-70 is coming in as well. Rakettenwerfer's got a lot of work to do. T-34 possibly. Puma's cycling in. And they miss. Faust doesn't.
Stuff now from Asiamint. His Puma's on 1 HP basically. Sniping away at the T-70 though. His barrage comes in as well. Everything's kicking off in this game. Frantic stuff.
Frantic stuff indeed. Let's have a quick look at the stats and see the KD has of course been in OKW's favour. Let's look at the graphs and see that Asiamint's taken a dive and they've come very close very recently. Points held, it's undulated wildly. It's all over the bloody place, quite frankly. It's a good game so far.
Yeah, and DevM has picked up all the command points, so if he didn't go for that T-34, man, he could have got a very quick IS-2, but he wasn't to know basically how many units will be dropped and XP gained. So yeah, it's safe and steady with the T-34 first.
Do you feel in some ways that this is a real treat to watch, isn't it? This is what we came here for, as the the OKW units would say.
Yeah, I think it's the best of the versus the best at the moment. I don't know many players who would beat DevM, but one of them definitely could be Asiamint. He's down a game, so he's playing for his upper bracket life, and desperately wants to show as well that OKW aren't a done faction just yet in 1v1 scene.
Yeah.
But a treat of a game, yes. And nice little lull here so we can actually catch our breaths.
Yeah, it was the perfect time to mess up my overlays as well. I clicked the stats screen button and didn't click my hotkey. It's as simple as just clicking the hotkey twice, Ed, but I failed in the most rudimentary of tasks. I exited the stat screen manually.
Doubling your APM though, that's always a worrying time, Matt.
I did practice. Did you see me doing practice streams in the build-up to this tournament? I was like, I'm going full sweaty on this one.
Oh, by the way, long-range Puma, yep, sniping away on the T-70.
As is the Zis protecting him. We've got a second T-34-76. We're going full on Ural Mountains, Uber production. Gonna try and flatten the Axis resistance. One T-34 at a time.
I think losing the Lukes just it's got rid of a nice little tool for Asiamint that was peppering away at the conscripts from max range. Eats a mine on the East VP to die for the cap. But yeah, Asiamint just seems to be neutered a little bit, losing his after losing his Panzer II. I think he didn't go for the Stuka. He's instead gone for tier 4. Oh, this could be a dead.
Mine!
Oh,
Yes!
oh no! Eats 2 mines and gets 1 model dropped by the T-34. That was rough. The STG Volk.
Oh, Asiamint's thrown in the towel. He's gone down to the lower bracket. He's seen the writing on the raw wall. And quite frankly, DevM was too strong for him. Who saw that coming, Ed?
GG. Oh, my boy, Asiamint.
And we're back after a sensational series of the highest level company heroes you're going to see for a very long time indeed. That was absolutely terrific.
Yeah, I think just triggering those mines triggered him too much, and Asiamint there throwing in the towel. Maybe he can just saving his brain juice for later. It is very late for him, but full credit to DevM there. Played a perfect Soviets game there. Didn't have to see his USF, but he didn't need it. Beautiful.
We've got the brackets updated in real time, by the way. Ipkai Fung on the trigger straight away, sending Asiamint down. Asiamint now has to face the winner of the Kimbo Barton series. DevM has a break now with the upper bracket privilege. And he has to face the winner of Love Nest Asher Blah. This is what is called a stacked tournament.
Maybe a tactical loss there from Asiamint. But no, it's Love Nest against Asher Blah. That'd be a hella close game as well. And Elpan through.
Oh, really? Sorry, I jumped away from that a bit too soon. But brackets,
in the lower bracket, yeah.
Exclamation mark brackets in chat if you want to play along. That's fascinating. Yeah, Alpern through. Nice. He's been playing a blinder so far.
Yeah.
Knocked out Helping Hands yesterday, of course.
Been keeping the chess practice up, and those transferable skills are coming back into CoH, it seems for him. So good lad. Great streamer as well. I'm sure more and more people are seeing him now during this lockdown time as CoH gets far more coverage, thankfully. And yeah, good streamer, good lad, and I'm happy for him powering through tough games from against Helping Hands yesterday. But yeah, he's proved he's got the stuff now. Stuff for champions.
Now everyone.
Just checking out some of the other streams. We've got Kimbo against Barton. We'll be casting the... I suppose we should probably follow the same players, I guess. We'll be casting the winner of this. Paul Connie. He's gonna be funny. He's a good troll though. I'm sure he'll take it in his stride. But yeah, we're currently seeing...
Did he want to watch...
Well, he's watching Kimbo Barton, but I think we should probably stick with the guys we're casting, unless we want a mega 2-hour break or something. I mean, the other choices would be... Oh, gosh, let me think. You've got Elpern, who's going to face the winner of U25. U25 is... Sorry, the loser of U25, Asher Blah or Love Nest. So Elpern versus the loser of Asher Blah Love Nest. You've got the possibility of the winner of Quirit's Orange Pest versus the loser of Nagano Paul, or the winner of Ko's Bullet versus the loser of Seeking the Happy Cat. So absolutely, yeah. Let's because I'm gonna have to unfortunately be mean to Connie and take away his viewers. Let's go give Connie some follows, shall we? Let's all go and pay him with follows. I think that's a nice thing to do. So there's his Twitch stream. Go check it out. And Ed and I will be, gosh, what's the word? We will be back with the winner of this series versus the loser of the previous series. That's Asiamint, isn't it? Asiamint versus Kimbo or Barton, which makes sense because we cast a lot of Barton last time.
Yeah, that'd be a good game to see. Any Asiamint games, it's a joy to watch. So yeah, I'm pumped for anything, Matt.
So let's take a little break then, and we'll lose lots of viewers, I'm sure, but it's a good chance to check out some of the other streams. I'm not. We'll just cast 3 series today. We don't need to do more than that, Eddie Babes, and we should be good, to be honest. I definitely do want to see DevM versus Love Nest, most likely, or DevM versus Ashablar. So whichever way it happens, but there will be a break before that happens, and we can tell the refs to keep it on ice for us. So that's how I think we should do it. I don't know how you feel about that, Ed.
I'm happy with whatever, man. Just here for the ride, for a good time.
Yeah, we'll go on a break, guys. We'll figure out what we're casting next for you very soon. And we'll figure it out. It'll all be good. We'll go on a break though, and we'll be back, and you will hear our luscious tones when to give you an alert when we're going to be back. So also check out the top of the break screen. I'll put the information of what's happening next very shortly. So hang on a sec.